Hello, this is Prajakta Rane, editor with Newsband. Newsband brings to you Dr. Mrudul Nile, professor in Department of Civics and Politics, University of Mumbai. Dr. Mrudul Nile has worked with State Election Commission until 2019 for advising reforms in the democracy and election for good governance. We will know from Dr. Mrudul Nile about the current situation and his analysis on the unopposed victories as well as the panel system. Hello, Dr. Mrudul Nile.
Hello.
Yes. Please tell us about yourself and how do you see the current situation?
Thank you, Prajakta, for having me here with your Newsband. First of all, let me just make a small little correction. I was in officer on special duty to the State Election Commission when Mr. Saharia was the State Election Commissioner between 2014 and 2019. And I was looking after research in the State Election Commission. So, we have conducted some research on different aspects of elections to the local bodies, both rural as well as urban. At this point of time in Maharashtra, I think we are at a very different stage wherein after 8 years we are undergoing some elections. After 8 years, you find that, one has to really understand whether political parties are, this particular election is for political parties or for the people. Because you find that there are different kind of alliances wherein earlier people used to call something called as natural alliance between certain political parties, like take for example Shiv Sena and BJP. It was a natural alliance, or maybe RPI and Congress was considered to be a natural alliance. But then now you find that these kind of things are not there. You actually find that BJP is contesting with Congress also in Ambarnath, or BJP is contesting with MIM also, or those kind of changes that one could see in these particular elections. So the first thing that we need to understand is whether these elections are for the people, okay, and are the aspirations of the people translated into policies through these particular elections. That is the first thing that we need to understand. The second most crucial thing that we need to understand in this particular election, what you asked about, is that of the unopposed elections. Well, when you talk about unopposed elections, I think whenever you are talking about unopposed, they cannot be called as elections because there is no election. Okay, directly people are saying that, okay, fine, this is our candidate, other candidates are withdrawing. Withdrawal could be any reason. Okay, it can be money power, it can be muscle power, it can be any other reason because of which other candidates are, in a way, withdrawing from contesting elections, and that creates a lot of hue and cry. Okay, we need to understand that how many voters are out of the fray of elections. If you consider about, say, 66 individuals, close to 40 lakh people do not get right to vote in a democracy. Is it correct? And in a democratic setup, in our biggest democracy of India, should we have this kind of a system is a big question. In a metropolitan setup, where every voter or where every candidate does not know every voter, that essentially means that your elections do not remain free, fair and transparent in that case. So therefore, when it comes to unopposed elections, I think the people should take a call on that, and people should say that no, there should not be people should have that particular right. Whom will they vote if, supposing, say, there is absolute unopposed election? So, and if supposing, say, I stay in a particular place, I stay in a particular ward, and that particular ward has some problems, whom am I going to go and speak to? Because I have not voted for that particular person. I do not have any locus standi with the person who is representing my ward through unopposed elections. So when you're looking at all of these particular things, you find that it is a grave issue of having unopposed elections at this particular time.
we have some stats. Say in 2004 to 2009 elections, 10 candidates were elected unopposed. Subsequently, in 2009 to 13, 11 candidates were elected unopposed. Shockingly, now we have this number going way up. Will you give little deeper analysis on this?
See, a deeper analysis of this should be now that we have something called as NOTA. Okay, I think the unopposed candidate should face the NOTA. When NOTA was introduced, NOTA essentially said that if NOTA is getting large number of votes, in that case, the second only candidate, okay, after NOTA should be declared as elected. That is how it was. But then if you see the 2000, I think it was a July or September 18th, 2018 notification from the State Election Commission, okay, signed by Mr. Saharia. This particular notification says that if NOTA wins, there should be a re-election. So technically speaking, if supposing say there is NOTA on the ballot paper, okay, or the EVM, in that case, the candidate who is declared unopposed has to face NOTA. Okay, and if he is facing NOTA, what if NOTA wins in that case? So obviously over there is a need for a re-election. So this was one of the reforms which is considered to be very important. Of course, I mean, when this particular NOTA thing came, we did not think that it should be from this point of view that if supposing say there is an unopposed election, then the candidate has to fight NOTA. But this was basically to keep, there's a very important saying in American politics, and they say that throw the rascals out. Okay, so this particular NOTA came to throw the rascals out. They said that these particular people who are non-serious candidates should not be there should not be contesting elections. Okay, that was the first reform that we brought in. And along with NOTA, we had a second reform. We said that if supposing say NOTA wins and if you are having re-election, in the subsequent election, those people who had contested earlier, they should not be contesting the subsequent election. The logic is very simple, that those people are rejected by those candidates are rejected by the people, and therefore they should not contest. Let them work for 5 years and then contest again after 5 years. Okay, that is the thing that we did. But the second recommendation was taken up by the State Election Commission of Haryana, and that State Election Commission Haryana recommendation becomes very important in this case. So here at this point of time, supposing say we have about 82 seats where generally all of these particular people have gone unopposed. So if supposing say people decide that in all these particular seats they will vote for NOTA, so what happens to the unopposed elections then? So therefore NOTA and unopposed elections, if you're trading smartly with this, I think the voter will have an upper hand, and therefore his right to vote should be should be protected.
Dr. Nile, please elaborate on the reforms which are required for the elections.
Okay. Now see, I cannot tell you what election reforms that are needed for elections at this point of time, but I can certainly elaborate a little bit more on the elections, on the reforms that were taken up during Mr. Saharia. Two very important things that he did. First, he came up with online submission of the nomination papers. So once the process begins, so whenever they feel like they can go and fill the nomination papers till the last date and the last time, and after that automatically the system will not accept the nomination papers. So that is the first thing. Now what has happened again, going back to the previous question of unopposed thing. So here, who is contesting? That is not known to the opposing candidate, isn't it? So if the opposite candidate does not know who is contesting, there is no question of unopposed elections. That becomes the first thing. Second is, this particular person can take his own sweet time to fill the form and give the entire information in the affidavit and the nomination form as he feels is correct to his knowledge, the best of his knowledge. So that happens. Now what we did, or what happened during these particular elections during Mr. Saharia, is that we culled out the information regarding his educational qualifications, regarding his assets, what assets he has, and the criminal antecedents if there are any. Okay, and what we tried to do is we had put up large banners on big chaurahas, chalks, intersections of road, and outside every polling booth about the candidates. So there are 4 candidates or 5 candidates who are contesting, and you are voting for those 5 candidates in a particular polling booth. Outside that particular polling booth, Election Commission had published the entire information about these particular people that he had submitted in the affidavit. So what happens is, when the voter is going to the polling booth, before that he is reading the information about all these particular candidates. So it was a major political education exercise just before you enter the polling booth. And over there you can make a decision whether you want to vote for a candidate who is clean, or you want to vote for a candidate who has got a big criminal antecedent. Okay, so that is cleaning the electoral process, and this happened, okay, which we don't find during these particular elections. I think that some of these best practices should be adopted, and I think every voter, it should be the right of the voter to know about the candidate. So that was one very big reform that was taken up during this particular period of time, and that was a very important reform, I think.
Absolutely. Considering the AI that we have now, this could be easily implemented.
Absolutely.
The whole of MMR region, we are a very big economy. Comparing ourselves with other South Asian countries and their civic governance, how do you rate our situation today? And what do you want to say about?
So generally we say that general elections, that is Lok Sabha elections, are most important. Then come the state elections, that is legislative assembly elections, and then the municipal elections. But if you go in certain other states, like take for example Switzerland, okay, it is one of the most developed state. You find that the economy is doing very well. These particular state, we generally find that the municipal elections are given more importance. And if you're talking about what is happening to the civic body elections, I mean, just tell me, in last 20 years has there been any change except for making better gutters? Is there any change in Mumbai anywhere? Or Navi Mumbai for that. Navi Mumbai is now, of course, it's changing. It is considered to be one of the, Swachh cities, one of the most cleanest city in India, and so on and so forth. So, but then, what is the role of corporators in that? Nothing. Okay, it is the municipal administration, okay, who has done this particular thing, or who is taking care of garbage and all of those kind of the solid waste management, etc., etc., and because of which you find that the city is looking cleaner. But then if you go to Mumbai, okay, tell me which part of Mumbai except Nariman Point to Malabar Hill, okay, which is the place where you will not find garbage. Garbage is everywhere. You have open dustbins, you have trash bin thrown all over the place. So what have the corporators for so many years done? When that's the question. And if suppose the corporators cannot even keep their city clean, okay, in that case, do they really deserve to be elected again and again and again and again, or maybe for that matter unopposed for 3 times? Yesterday I was in Thane, or one of my students was in Thane, and he sent me some picture saying that this particular person is elected unopposed 3 times. Does he even deserve it?
Here we conclude our interview with Dr. Nile. I'm sure that the conversation was quite interesting, and we look forward for more series and parts with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.